Imaralam Gwambele Imarale Maragwam Gwambele 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 Wawudi kwani oriye Olu ndi oriye leku Gwambele Oke wanele Gwambele Mandara miziki Akunda bya kwala o Aiwaro yena nagabya Omari ya maru Omana kwa matwa Agwana bo marebe Awa kwa kwa Na wala mari ukari anwo Agwa sutufia kwa Na wala mari ukari awo Awa onye nguru Aga kiweruko.
Hello, good evening and thanks for joining us on the program tonight. Elections may have come and gone, but it left a lot of lessons to be learned. That is not our focus of discourse on today's edition of the program. Some of the governors across Nigeria were returned elected for the second time in office. One of such governors is the governor of Abia State, Okeze Victor Ikpeazu. Governor Okeze Ikpeazu has focused his administration on 5 pillars. But beyond the 5 pillars, what are we expecting as he resumes again for a second time in office come May 29th, 2019? For some persons, it could be described as a 10-point agenda, but for others, it's an improvement on the existing pillars, with job creation as the major emphasis. On today's edition of the program, we'll take a look at what the government intends to do on its second missionary journey, as some people would say. My name is Nora Okafor. Thanks for joining us on today's edition of the program. Governor Okeze Ikpeazu at the outset of his administration on May 29, 2015, hinged his administration on 5 pillars with some enablers. The 5 pillars include education, agriculture, oil and gas, trade and commerce, and small and medium scale development. The enablers are roads, health, media and advocacy, and housing. They also include security, ease of doing business, and information and communication technology. The present administration has no doubt recorded some modest achievements made in some of these areas. However, much work still needs to be done. In agriculture, the state government planted 4 million tenera palms. The aim is to ensure that Abia becomes the biggest producer of palm oil in the southeast and the country in general. In the education sector, the state has maintained the #1 position in West Africa Examination Council for the 4th consecutive year. It also built 4 model schools across the 3 senatorial zones, introduced the free school feeding program, among other improvements in the education sector. Abia is widely regarded as the capital of small and medium-scale enterprises, owing to the promotion of made-in-Aba products by the present administration. The impact of the administration has not been fully felt in the area of oil and gas sector. Infrastructure development, especially road, is receiving attention. The state government claims it has constructed more than 60 roads across the 3 senatorial zones of the state. This is like a drop of water in an ocean, considering the poor state of roads in the state. The government is yet to complete some of the road projects it started when it assumed office in 2015. Some of the roads are Aba Road, Omahia, Abowere Road, Ezuku Road, Aba, New Mahia Road, popularly known as Ruruka Road, Emelogo Ungwa Road, among others. After the 9th March governorship election in the state, the governor was returned elected, and he promised to improve on the already existing pillars. Governor Okeze Ikpeazu, alongside his deputy Udo Okochukwu, on 27th March, received their certificates of return from the Independent National Electoral Commission. The event can be described as the climax of the electoral process. INEC National Commissioner Professor Okechukwu Ibano, while presenting the certificates of return, called on Governor Ikpeazu and elected members of Abia State House of Assembly to see their election as a call to service. Ibano enjoined them to regard their electoral success as an opportunity to write their name in gold. He spoke of the difficulties of conducting elections in the country and called on Governor Ibazu's opponents to join hands in developing the state. The INEC National Commissioner enjoined the governor and the state lawmakers to place emphasis on the welfare of the people that gave them the mandate. Abia State Resident Electoral Commissioner Joseph Ilo earlier in his speech said the event marked the climax of activities between the commission and politicians, which started 4 years ago. Ilo called on the winners to fulfill their electioneering promises to the people. Responding, Governor Ibazo thanked Abians for the opportunity given him to serve for another 4 years. The governor reaffirmed his commitment to improving the welfare of the people. Governor Ibazo extended the olive branch to his opponents in the 2019 governorship election.
For Abia, the next 4 years is going to witness rapid and fast tracking of infrastructural development in all areas, focusing on our key pillars of education, industrialization, promotion of trade and commerce, as well as agriculture, and to extend olive branch to all those who did not succeed in the present election, and to say to them that the most important entity in all of it all is in Abia, and for them to realize that God actually makes leaders. Effort is for us to make, but appointment and the election of leaders is the ultimate preserve of God Almighty. I urge them to join us so that we can create a platform where everybody can come and participate in the building of a new area for the benefit of all of us.
The art of governance is a symbiotic process where the two parties, the leader and the led, benefit from each other. The people of the state have given their mandate to Governor Okeze Ikpeazu. The governor is expected to reciprocate the gesture by fulfilling his campaign promises to the people. The expectations of Abians are high. The people have expressed their expectations from the governor as he begins the journey of piloting the affairs of the state for another 4 years.
This tenure now, let's just give him second chance for him to do well.
The focus of the governor, for me, should be to round up all the projects he has started. You know, he started a lot of projects, a lot of critical projects. I will expect in this 2019 and beyond for the governor to go ahead and finish those projects, and then intervene where necessary to some issues, to some areas that require serious intervention. But I should expect to see the governor finish all the projects.
We expect the governor, who has been doing well so far, to continue with his good works and try to speed it up a bit with the developmental strides he has been embarking on. He didn't just get this victory at a platter of gold. It was a war, it was a battle. We went into the battlefield and God gave us victory. So to make other Abians happy and build more confidence in him, all he owes Abians now is just to put more effort in his good works and goodwill.
This is the first time an Angwa man is being a governor, and it will be very good that an Angwa man left a legacy that will say, yes, when Okeze was there from Angwa, this is what he achieved. Those major roads in Nabada, people have been complaining because the only season is around the corner. A lot of work needs to be done. If the work will not be completed now, let there be palliative work done already on the roads. Abians expect more. Now, when you come into salary payment, he should look more into salary payment, because normally nobody will support owing workers their salary.
As he's doing something good in Aba, let him also give Umuahia at least 30%, because Umuahia is a state capital. You understand me? It's not just Umuahia in Abia says it's just like Abuja in Nigeria. You understand me? So when you're concentrating in Aba, let him leave 70% there, then come to Umuahia, do a little bit for 30%.
Let him concentrate mainly in the education sector, employment, payment of gratuity pensions, because some of the pensioners are not happy. That was what caused some disagreement between people voting for him or not voting for him. See, some of the pensioners, they are not happy. They are dying. I want him to look into the payment of pensions, payment of salaries, and developmental projects like rural roads.
People and governors sought to know the plans and programs of the Abia State government in the next 4 years. Governor Bazo just received the certificate of return, and of course, during his victory speech first, he analyzed some of the things he's going to do for Abia, which is encapsulated in what could be referred to as 10-point agenda. Please, can we get to know what those things are?
The focus now will be on job creation. We're going to work on that, knowing that this state is churning out graduates every graduation cycle, and we have some of the most brilliant graduates in Nigeria. Most of them are science oriented, just like our forebears, those who came before us, Dr. M.I. Okpara, and even our current governor, who is also a science graduate. At the secondary school level, we are going to refocus on STEM education, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics education, and further improve our education for employment scheme, in addition to following up on the reconstruction of most of our schools. As at today, we have done 359 new classroom blocks and 4 model schools. According to the governor, we are looking forward to additional 300 new classroom blocks and of course 13 new model schools in the state. This administration is committed to completing all the projects we started, and that is one area we are going to focus on, to complete them in good time. We are also poised to deliver 500 kilometers of road across the state, given that we have received affirmation in terms of funding from African Development Bank. This administration will have available about $100 million from African Development Bank to do the 500 kilometers of road. We will continue to also make interventions with erosion, especially around the Sukwato and also the Abriba area and Bende. The administration is set to deepen the agricultural revolution in the state. As you are aware, we planted 4 million tenera palm seedlings. Our target now is to bring it up to 7.5 million so that Abia can become the undisputed champion of palms. We think that this second term should focus a lot more, and in fact, at the center of this second term will be young people. We will be given opportunities to young persons to make their contributions in leadership, in governance. You may have started seeing that, you may have seen that in the first term, a lot of young people were brought into governance so that we can mentor them, guide them to take over as quickly as possible, while also not neglecting the more experienced ones politically and in leadership terms. We expect them to be involved in guiding the young ones, mentoring them, and helping to contribute their own quota to leadership in this state. We are focused on ensuring that we end the regime of challenges with regular salary payment. While we are proud and happy that we are up to date with the payment of salaries of those in the MDS, we are concerned as an administration with the state of things with parastatals. As the governor said, at the end of this month, which should be next week, if we do not see action with regards to payment of parastatal salary, we will make some changes in those parastatals. And we are also interested in ensuring that the flyover at Aba is quickly completed so that we can start a new one in Umuahia, because we want to do a lot of work in terms of urban renewal in Umuahia. We think that we can find the resources to dualize Umuahia-Kotekbene Road so as to connect it to Michael Okpara University and of course the law faculty campus of Abia State University, so that our people can derive maximum benefit from the location of such federal and state institutions around Umuahia. We are going to work in other areas, in healthcare. People can expect more general hospitals to spring up, but more importantly, we want to rejig the healthcare management system, look at the hospitals management board to find out what exactly is responsible for the current state of things there. And of course, look at ABSUT, which is our state-owned tertiary institution. I want to assure you that the governor has given necessary directive to the Ministry of Works to reconstruct the road leading to ABSUT so that access to the hospital will be a lot better. We are also looking at other management issues and management systems in that institution. We think that we can plug revenue leakages from that institution using technology. And the Commissioner for Health has been directed to fully implement the new patient management system, hospital management system, as a pilot in that institution. All around, we look forward to more glorious years, and it is important to point out that in line with our agenda to create jobs, this administration will pursue the realization of Enyimba Economic City with renewed vigor. We will support NEBRA shoe design to quickly deliver on the leader city at Obuako so that we can add 3,000 jobs. The government is set to also complete the new automated shoe factory at Aba so that we can engage those 30 young shoe argonauts that we sent to China. That again should add at least another 2,000 jobs. And with the expected revitalization of Golden Guinea, we think that we will support that institution to give more jobs. We'll also look at some other institutions that are not performing well. Even in terms of the public service, the civil service, we are determined, to bring on board fresh heads, fresh brains that are capable of re-engineering the system. We think that no civil servant in the state should work without full knowledge of ICT. If we are going to run this civil service at the engine room of governance in Abia State, then those working within that system must be up to date in terms of technology and in terms of even capacity. So we are going to embark on a lot of retraining with regards to the civil service. Of course, you know that the teachers' retraining is still ongoing in the state. In March, we trained about 3,000 teachers in the management of primary school students and the new way of teaching. So we are going to deepen that and ensure that Abia continues to lead in terms of education, not just in Nigeria but in Africa. But more importantly, we want to make it more functional, which means that you don't graduate and necessarily start looking for a job, but rather you can even be self-employed and employ others.
In what areas do you think you were not able to meet up to the demands of the people? And how do you intend to improve on all of that? Because you talked about improving on the 5-point agenda in the second term.
The 5 pillars include education, which is also an enabler. We have agriculture. We have trade and commerce. We have oil and gas. Now, in education, like I said, we've done 359 new classroom blocks. We've also done 4 model schools. The improvement is to now do 13 more model schools to ensure that all local governments in the states have 1 model school. The additional 300 planned by the governor is also a way of saying that we will do more classroom blocks to cover everywhere in Abia State. We have about 200 and something primary schools and 400 and something secondary schools within the public school system. What we want to do is to ensure that there is no school in Abia State without a modern classroom block.
Because there are these assumptions that once they get into the second administration, it's time for them to rest. And of course, knowing that there is nothing at stake, are we expecting something different with this present administration, with all that you've mapped out? Because there could be a lot of talking and no implementation.
Response to your question, I can tell you that Governor Bazo is as motivated as he was on day one in 2015 to do the work of Abia. Yes, you are going to have the coming together of most of the plans we made, the effort we made in the first term. Most of them will come to fruition in the second term. For instance, I've talked about the 500 kilometers of road. We started work on that in the first term. So if you have 500 kilometers of new road in the second term, that is an improvement on the first term. So I can confidently tell Abians to expect improvement. In the first term, we started the work on Enyimba Economic City. It is likely to come to fruition now. We started work on Port Harcourt Road Aba to do a new 6-lane road. Today we have done 80% of the drainage work. We are getting set to complete the drainage work, and then we will go into the reconstruction of Ngwa Road or Hankwanobo here. That certainly will represent improvement. So I think that the second term of Governor Kezi Bazo will show a lot more achievement than we had in the first term, because he was working and at the same time planning in his first term, and now most of those things are coming together. Nibra Shoe Factory started in the first term, but by December, which is in his second term, we will commission that shoe factory, God willing, and then we will have jobs for 3,000 Abians. So I don't know what the pattern is, but for us, this administration led by Governor Kezi Bazo is determined to even work harder than we did in our first term.
That was the Abia State Commissioner of Information, John Okikalo, rolling out what the next administration of the governor would do. And for a lot of persons, were the 5 pillars really achieved? Would they build on that? Well, we'll trust people and governance to keep you up to speed. We'll also keep tracking down on the 5 pillars and the enablers as we progress till May the 29th. If you were informed on today's edition, please do well to join us again same time next week. Till then, my name is Shnora Okafo. Good night.
Imaralam Gwambele, Imarale Maragwam Gwambele, Imaralamo Gwambele,